coordinators. At least we have some semblance of what they do and their impact. My view of how to evaluate NFL drafts is often, not always, based on who makes the selection, not who is selected. Because I know where the guy's going, and more importantly, I know the history of that front office. And the reverse is true, too. And Tepper Tantrum, the owner of... By the way, Rome says Tepper Tantrum, too. I'm going to stop saying it if I didn't say it first. He can say whatever he wants. He's a Hall of Famer. He is... Rome is what? Probably the greatest sport... He is probably the greatest sports talk radio host of all time. Didn't do it on purpose. Clones, if you're listening. I love Rome. I was listening to Rome like, oh, no. He's saying Tepper Tantrum, too. Anyway, we're going to do it for now. Tepper Tantrum... The fact that he hired this guy makes you worried that it's a yes man. Makes you worried that it's a guy that cozied up to him. Makes you worried that this guy, Dan Morgan, can't possibly be good at his job simply because Tepper Tantrum made the decision. That may not be fair to Dan Morgan. It really may not be. But it is the concern that I have. And we'll see. The other thing is he was in the front office when Bryce Young got selected. And I'm not saying Bryce Young's a failure. I don't know if Bryce Young's a failure because there's still time. But we know that when you start off as poorly and as underwhelmingly as Bryce Young started off, very rarely, not never, very rarely do those things turn themselves around. Even Trevor Lawrence is not recovered and on the path he was supposed to be. It's a bit of a setback year this year. And I blame Urban Meyer and dysfunction for that, but it doesn't distinction without a difference if you are Trevor Lawrence in that organization. And a very much a distinction without a difference how Bryce Young failed to live up to expectations. You can blame the coach, the front office, the team, the culture, the owner. Doesn't matter. They selected him. He's not working. And the guy that was the number 2, it sounds like the assistant in the organization that selected Bryce Young got the job. Also, we know from reports that it was Tepper Tantrum who really, really, really wanted Bryce Young and was in on that. And so you sort of worry that maybe he didn't go and find somebody who was like, okay, please have the same view that I have. Now, maybe Frank Reich, former coach, had those reports leaked. Maybe you don't know. When things start to go bad, people look to blame other folks. Tom, I don't have a lot of confidence in this hire. I hope Dan Morgan proves me wrong. I don't know Dan Morgan, and I do respect that he put in the time.
When I sent this to you yesterday, I was absolutely floored that the hire came with in-house. And I know nothing about Dan Morgan, the front office person, and to be honest with you, I didn't remember Dan Morgan, the player. I'm not a Panthers fan. Like, he made one Pro Bowl. Like, good for him. It's irrelevant about Dan. Like, it's not about Dan Morgan. It's about the team with the worst culture in the NFL who won 2 games, who drafted a quarterback that the owner wanted, stayed in-house to make this hire, and now your GM and the head of football operations, as you said, in-house is a Tepper Tantrum guy. Like, I
got to hit you something. When Andrew Bogus on his update said that MB shouldn't have played, you celebrated. He was being sarcastic. He just texted me. He was being sarcastic.
Nah, I ran this by other human beings. Nobody got outraged like you did.
You don't know other human beings who think that because none do.
Nobody got outraged.
No one wants to tell you, Tom, because no one wants to I'll tell you. It is not... You don't bench Embiid in the fourth quarter of a game that's in play.
An 11-point game is not in question with 6 minutes to go.
All right, I'm Bill Ryder. He's the future bum of the week on Friday, probably. Still time to go, though. Either way, we're going to be back here together as best friends tomorrow on CBS Sports Radio.
Babysitter paid, pizza ordered, flowers delivered, sprinklers set, mattress adjusted, shows recorded, flight booked, shades closed. You can do a lot of things with your phone, and with Blue Link Plus, you can even access your Hyundai Tucson Limited remotely. Doors unlocked, temperature set, lost car found. Get complimentary, class-leading Blue Link Plus. Just another way we make owning a Hyundai Tucson Limited more convenient than ever. Learn more about the new Tucson and Blue Link Plus. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.
Welcome back. All right, Jimmy, our Army veteran, for $400. Are you ready to answer the next question?
Actually, I'm good.
Huh?
Well, I already earn and save $473 a year on average with Navy Federal Credit Union. So, yeah.
All members of the armed forces, all veterans, and their families can earn and save more every year with a Navy Federal membership. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Insured by NCUA. Dollar value based on the 2022 Navy Federal member giveback.
Here with Christy Conway today from ENC Pirate Realty, and you guys are more than real estate agents.
That's right. We also provide property management services for rental properties. We have found that rental property owners have difficulty managing their rental properties effectively. We can provide full-service property management to those owners to include advertising their homes for rent, tenant screening, rent collections, and maintenance coordination. If you have real estate or property management questions, contact us at encpiraterealty.com. Go Pirates!
Hey Pirate Nation, Lindsay Gray here with Carolina Caliber. In 1960, my granddaddy started his firearm business right here in Eastern NC. Still family owned and operated, we have the area's largest selection for outdoor shooting sports and accessories and are one of the nation's top firearm dealers. At Carolina Caliber, we have everything you need from hunting, home defense, and personal protection, including a wide variety for ladies and youth. We buy, sell, and trade. It's a time-honored tradition. Visit us at Carolina Caliber on Fire Tower Road in Winterville.
Hey you. Yeah, you. Have you heard? Greenville Auto World is under new ownership and is now part of the DriveHereNow.com network. DriveHereNow.com is run by local people who buy, service, detail, and sell everything directly to you. Greenville Auto World is now the 5th dealership to join the DriveHereNow.com network. Get car shopping today at DriveHereNow.com and choose a location near you. DriveHereNow.com, serving Eastern North Carolina for over 47 years and proud supporter of the Pirates.
Here at Papa John's, we know our stuff. So try our newest cheesy calzone epic stuffed crust pizza. Made with a blend of ricotta and mozzarella, hand stuffed into that Papa John's fresh, never frozen, original dough. Get it for a limited time only at Papa John's.
Hey, Pirate fans, Papa John's is the MVP move for game day or any day. Place your order online at papajohns.com and sign up for Papa Rewards. Papa John's, better ingredients, better pizza. Go Pirates!
The convenience of Pitt-Greenville Airport is waiting just outside your front door. Service is back, so you're connected to destinations worldwide through flights from American Airlines. Plan your next trip. Book your flights today at flypgv.com or aa.com.
Good news, business travelers. PGV and American Airlines has added a new early morning flight available now. Book today at aa.com and be on time for that connection in Charlotte. Fast, convenient, and close to home, PGV has American flights perfect for your next trip. PGV, where the Pirates fly.
It's bow time. Chicken or biscuits? That's an impossible choice. How can you decide between Bojangles' perfectly crispy, boldly seasoned chicken or their fluffy, made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuits? Well, the good news is you don't have to. With a Cajun chicken filet biscuit, you get the best of both worlds. An all-white meat chicken breast marinated with a bold blend of seasonings and served up on a fluffy, golden buttermilk biscuit. When it comes to real-deal Southern flavor, there's no reason you can't have it all. Order a Cajun chicken filet biscuit today. It's bow time.
This is John Gavigan with the Gavigan Agency. Our top priority is doing what is best for our members. Whether you are buying a new vehicle, a new home, protecting your family with life insurance, or filing a claim, our agency will be there every step of the way. Our goal is to become a trusted advisor for you and your family for all of your personal and commercial insurance needs. Give us a call in Greenville at 756-1400 for a car, home, business, or life insurance quote today, and give us the opportunity to show you the benefits of doing business with someone who cares.
I'm Donald Stocks, owner of Pip Marketing Signs Print. We are your one-stop shop for just about anything printed. If we're not your go-to printer, please give us a call at 355-1636. We have over 80 5-star Google reviews and want you to be our next more than satisfied and well-pleased customer. Check us out at growatpip.com or stop in to see us at 3185 Mosley Drive in Greenville. Pip, where business goes to grow.
This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 and 92.7 FM Greenville, WDLX Washington, 930 and 104.1 FM Washington. The following is an exclusive presentation of Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. This is Eastern North Carolina's longest-running sports radio call-in show. The Brian Bailey Show is on the air. The Brian Bailey Show on Pirate Radio is brought to you by
The Angus Grill, Bostic Sugg Furniture, Bojangles, East Coast Grading, Gavigan Insurance, Greenville Auto World, Papa John's, Greenville Utility Company, Michelob Ultra, The Rick House, Taft and Hagler, and Tiebreakers.
And now, here's Brian Bailey.
All right, welcome in on this Tuesday this week. I had to think about what day it was because usually we're on Mondays at noon, but we moved our show to Tuesday to talk a little baseball, hot stove baseball, because yesterday, speaking of baseball, East Carolina held its annual media day for Pirate baseball. So the whole staff was over there for that, so we moved my show to Tuesday. In the studio with us live, Ronald Vincent, North Carolina's all-time winningest coach in any sport. I like the way we say that. Yeah, I kind of like that. And Brian Weingart, who's now the head, he and his wife, Andy, you guys are a combo effort as far as being head of the hot stove? Or?
She does all the hard work.
She does all
here and do the interview.
There you go. That'll work. Well, we're going to talk hot stove. The 33rd annual Pitt-Greenville Hot Stove Banquet is set for tomorrow night. Chris Bassett, who's the pitcher with the Toronto Blue Jays, he's going to be our guest speaker. We're going to hear from him coming up later on in our show, but we'll talk hot stove baseball live after this.
Here with Jeff Stein at Brown & Wood. It's a great time to buy a used vehicle.
It's not a great time, it's a perfect time to buy a used car from Brown & Wood. We have over 115 used vehicles in stock, and we're number one in the market on price. We have limited lifetime powertrain on all of our used cars under 80,000 miles, so go to brownandwoodauto.com to find out more. 4 brands, 3 generations, 2 rooftops, and 1 goal: to make sure you leave a happy customer.
Basketball season is Bud Light season. Bud Light is America's favorite light beer and the official beer of the ECU Pirates. Whether you're headed to watch a game in person or a viewing party with friends, be sure to pick up or order some Bud Light and enjoy the game. Bud Light carefully brews their beer to be perfect for anywhere there's fun, because when there's fun, Bud Light is there. Have fun this basketball season, Pirate Nation, and always stay in the game, and please drink responsibly. Bud Light, the official beer of the ECU Pirates, and proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989. Go Pirates!
Be sure to check out David Price Construction for all of your commercial or custom residential renovation and building needs. Run by ECU alumni, David Price Construction specializes in commercial projects, maintenance on facilities, and large-scale residential renovations and additions. Proud to be voted the Remodeler of the Year by the Home Builders Association of Raleigh-Wake County in 2018 and Best Business Commercial Remodel Project winner for 2020. David Price Construction, the proud ECU Home Services partner.
There's a common misbelief today that to make it further, you need to push yourself, that you need to give up any joy to continue your rigid routine. Or you could try another way. Take some time to enjoy life, like having a Michelob Ultra with friends, because happiness is essential to living an exceptional life. Michelob Ultra, a refreshing and balanced flavor with only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Michelob Ultra, proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989.
Here's the deal. When you combine State Farm home and auto insurance, you can save an average of $889 per year. Hi, I'm State Farm agent Timothy Sawyer, and I'm ready to help you combine your home and auto and save in Greenville, North Carolina. Call 493-0002 today to get started on your personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
It's bow time. Chicken or biscuits? That's an impossible choice. How can you decide between Bojangles' perfectly crispy, boldly seasoned chicken or their fluffy, made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuits? Well, the good news is you don't have to. With a Cajun chicken filet biscuit, you get the best of both worlds. An all-white meat chicken breast marinated with a bold blend of seasonings and served up on a fluffy, golden buttermilk biscuit. When it comes to real-deal Southern flavor, there's no reason you can't have it all. Order a Cajun chicken filet biscuit today. It's bow time.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, providing reliable utility solutions to the Greenville region since 1905. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back to our show. It's a celebration of baseball. The Pitt-Greenville Hot Stove League Banquet, the 33rd annual, is coming up tomorrow night. Tickets still available, Brian Weingarts. Is that true?
Yeah, we'll have some at the front gate.
Okay, they'll be at the front, so you can get you can come that night and buy a ticket, and you can also keep up with it on Facebook on the feed there. Kind of, you've been updating stuff and sending pictures out and that kind of thing. And there was a picture I think that came out recently. The two of us, we look young.
Yeah.
I don't know how many years ago it was, but I still had a little bit of dark hair. Most of yours was dark, so
yeah,
that's been a while. Ronald Vincent, the all-time winningest coach in any sport in North Carolina history, to my left, and to my far left is Brian Weingarts. He and his wife Ann taking over. Dwayne Grooms had taken over the presidency. He moved down to Wilmington. I think he still tries to help out on the side, but
I know if you've ever been involved with anything that Brian and Ann do, they do it right. So we certainly appreciate you guys taking it over and getting everything ready to go. The big question is now, are you ready for tomorrow night?
Yeah, we think so. The big question was how many plates of barbecue are we going to order, who's going to show up and who's not. But we feel like we got a pretty good handle on it.
And that's kind of a tricky situation because you don't want too much, but then you don't want to run out either, do you?
Well, we definitely don't want to run out.
Mm-hmm. Is Parker's doing it again? Is that
yeah, Parker's doing it. Yeah.
So that's so you're going to get a good meal if you come to the banquet. The guest speaker again is Chris Bassett. He's a pitcher now with the Toronto Blue Jays, and he's one of the. I mean, he's way up there as far as pitchers in the majors. I mean, he's got a new contract with the Blue Jays, and we're going to talk to him coming up in just a few minutes. When you think back to the origins, I like to go back to the very beginning, and I still remember the first meeting that we had, and I was invited to go to it, and I had no idea that we would still be doing this thing 33 years later. Do you remember the first meeting?
Yeah.
Because you're one of the charter members, on that certificate that's out there. That I've still got a copy of that thing. I got it framed at the office and being on it. But you remember the first meeting and the discussion that was going on? And
yeah, I do. And Jimmy Grimsley and George Williams and Howard McCulloch had so much to do with it. They organized it, and we got some great people over the years just kept it going. And it's so much fun. And Brian and Ann have put a lot of work into it, as everybody has to do. Right when we get ready to start. But man, what a good night every time we have it. It's just such a fun night,
and it's so different than a lot of the other hot stove banquets around. And in North Carolina, at least in eastern North Carolina, we know Raleigh has a hot stove banquet usually. I think they're still doing theirs. I know Wilson has one. They had theirs earlier this year. They kind of moved theirs because they honored George Whitfield. I went to that one when they honored Coach Whitfield. But they're all different in different ways. Ours is more family oriented, and that's how it's been since day one. You want the little leaguers to come out. You want them to get to hear a major leaguer, and we've had some great speakers through the years, haven't we?
Really have. Mike Schilt last year was really, really good.
He was I sat with him and talked to him, and he was really, really good. And now he's the manager of the San Diego Padres.
People don't keep up with it. He's the manager.
Yeah, he's the guy in San Diego. So that'll be fun to watch. He kind of got a raw deal in St. Louis, it was like. And he didn't talk a lot about it, but it was kind of like you could kind of read between the lines that there was something amiss about that whole situation. Yeah. But what a great guy, and just delivered a great message. Last year we had a good time with that. So
really good, yeah.
And then we've got Chris Bassett coming up. Are there any changes, Brian, that you guys are doing as far as the hot stove banquet? Is everything pretty much the same as it's been?
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's exactly what I was thinking, but I was going to ask it anyway. And one of the highlights, obviously, of the hot stove banquet is at the end with the door prizes. I mean, most everybody, the young kids at least, that come usually leave with something, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, the worst the kid's going to come out this year is if he'll get a pack of baseball cards, and that'll be as bad as you'll come out, and you could do a little better than that even. So.
Yeah, so that's a big deal at the very end. Marvin Jarman's been a part of it for so many years, and we understand Marvin's not feeling so well. What's the update on Marvin? Because everybody in town wants to keep up with Marvin.
And he's doing better now. He's still out at Pitt Memorial and ECU Health now.
I followed you more when you said Pitt Memorial than when you said ECU Health.
Yeah, and he's quite a bit better. Brian and I were out there last night and watched the UNC basketball game with him, and he stayed up and watched most of that. And then but he's doing better this morning, and he's starting to figure out. It's been a real tricky diagnosis as what was causing all these issues, and now he's. Just like we're going to turn the corner.
Good. We need to turn the corner and keep Marvin going. When you think about Marvin, you think about his streaks, and he had a long streak that just came to an end. But you were telling me beforehand that he had already planned on his basketball streak to end in 3 or 4 games, and it just ended 3 or 4 games early.
Yeah, and his last game he did in basketball was against Green Central at Conley, and Rose won. So I guess everything kind of worked out for him. But he had planned it. He didn't. These long bus rides are just too much for him.
Yeah,
and they are for me too. So
yeah, they are for me too. That's a long way to go.
Yeah, and he just had enough. So.
Yeah. When you look at guest speakers for the event, how did we end up with Chris Bassett?
Well, when we had the one with the guy from Oakland came down here and talked, Chris Bassett came.
Scott Emerson was
Scott,
him. Yeah.
And Chris came to that because he was pitching with Oakland at the time. And look, he had a winning record at Oakland.
Yeah, that says a lot right there, doesn't it?
A winning record at Oakland, so that's almost like being with Brian over here with Detroit Lions. Now they've got a winning record. Brian's all over Brian Weingart. He loves it. But anyhow, he sat there and talked, and he's actually moved to Washington in the off season now. He's married and he lives down in Washington and is close. And when we talked to him a couple of years ago, he said he really had a good time with it, and he said he'd come back. And so fortunately, we were able to get him back.
He's going to talk more about that coming up in just a little bit when we talk to him before we get him down to Greenville for the hot stove banquet. Thinking back to some of the greats that have spoken, and we think about that every year, but Catfish Hunter always comes to mind. Wasn't that a cool night when Catfish Hunter came?
It was, and started with a great one, Bobby Richardson.
Oh yeah, the very first one. Bobby Richardson.
But Catfish was good, and about all of them are good. I mean, you look at the list, and you've got it right here. Golly, man.
Oh, yeah.
Baseball royalty.
Yeah. I remember, I've said this before, when Catfish spoke, he said a couple of things real quick, and then he kind of looked around the room, and he kind of just pointed to people and would tell a story about him. I mean, he knew everybody, pretty much in the room, and did just such a great job with that. But the program actually has the charter membership in the middle. Brian brought me one of the copies of the program. So tomorrow night, if you're at the banquet, you'll see the entire list of the original members of the Pitt-Greenville Hot Stove League. And there was a picture that I saw, I think, Brian, you guys may have put it up, from the first event. But as you said, Bobby Richardson was the guest speaker. From the Yankees, Jimmy Grimsley was in that picture. The first amateur player of the year. Remember who that was? The very first one?
No.
Eric Jarman.
Eric Jarman. Yeah. How about that?
How about the first outstanding contributor? Think about an outstanding contributor, and he was the first honoree, but one of the greats in Greenville all time, Boyd Lee.
Boyd Lee, yeah, you had to be. And, if he hadn't already got it, he could get it again this year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, any time. And the volunteer coach, the first one?
Volunteer coach of the year.
It was Burbert.
Roy
Bourbon.
What a great one.
Yeah. So he was the very first volunteer coach of the year. Those are some of the awards that will be passed out at the 33rd annual Pitt-Greenville Hot Stove League banquet. I was going to try to see if I could see that list of all the speakers, but when you think about them, it's really incredible. There's the distinguished speaker series, but when you go down that list, I remember Clyde King was the second one.
Yeah.
Remember that? And then Bob Patterson was the third one. And you remember the funny thing about Bob Patterson, he was scared to death to speak. And so he sat beside me, and he said, man, you got this room under control. And I was young at the time. I didn't have anybody under control. And he said, what do I do? I said, Bob, look, just relax. I mean, these people aren't here to judge you. They're not going to say A, B, C, D, or F. You can go up there and flop, and they're going to enjoy it. Just tell a couple of baseball stories. And bless his heart, he got up there, and his cards got out of order. And then he started speaking, and he went from one subject to the next subject, and I knew his cards were out of order. So we sat back down, he goes, how'd I do? I said, you did great, man. They all enjoyed it. Nobody knew the cards were out of order, but maybe a couple of us. But Catfish Hunter was the fourth speaker to speak. The late Greg Biagini was fifth. In 1994, but that list just goes on, and just
Tony Beasley
in 2006.
And you know where he is now?
Yeah, exactly.
Third base coach for the Rangers.
Yeah, and he sang the national anthem.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah, fairly recently. I remember seeing that. Mike Fox, 2008, the eternal Joe West. I mean, goodness gracious,
what a great one he was.
Man, he told some stories. And I had him on my show right after he retired. And I'm telling you, he had my gut just split. I mean, he tells some of the funniest stories, and they're based on real life things that have happened. I mean, I'm sure he embellishes them a little bit, but there's an art to it, and he does such a great job. But man, just incredible the way he did. Grady Little was fun when he spoke in 2009.
He was with the Dodgers at the time.
Yep, he sure was. Yep. 2012, Billy Godwin was our guest speaker. He went to Greensboro, and now he's decided to go back as a scout with the Yankees, right?
Yankees, yeah.
Cliff Godwin in 15, Roger Williams in 14 before that. It's funny, Roger Williams and Cliff Godwin probably were the two finalists for the ECU job when it opened up. and Cliff got the job. Chad Tracy in 16, and Chad usually comes back for the East Carolina banquet, which is set for Saturday night. That's going to be a lot of fun as well. Chris Hatcher in 18 played his high school ball at Kinston and did such a great job. And then you mentioned Scott Emerson in 20.
Made it to a majors as a catcher and became a pitcher the next year.
Yeah, how about that?
Made it to the majors as a pitcher the next year.
That's an incredible story as well. Back to some of the other years, Sam Perlazzo, he did a great job when he spoke. That was a lot of fun. Some of the Carolina guys, B.J. Surhoff and Scott Bankhead, were back-to-back years. Pat Watkins, former Pirate, he had a
really good one. Yeah.
Hal Baird in 02 was very good as well. So
the stories about Bo.
Oh, yeah.
All those stories about Bo where he hit baseballs.
Yeah. Mike Fox in 07 was our guest speaker. That was a lot of fun having him in town. But, it's just a great deal. We're able to lure some of these people in and listen to their stories. And as I've said, the two banquets that I think every year that you go to that you really enjoy, 'cause a lot of banquets, and you guys have been to a number of them.
Yeah.
You kind of get there and you're like, okay, what time is this thing going to be over? But you really don't feel that way, at the Hot Stove or the ECU banquet, which Cliff Galvin and company will have on Saturday night. But the Pitt-Greenville Hot Stove, the awards and with the guest speaker, and it kind of flies by. So
you're putting a little pressure on Brian Weingartz over here because, this thing goes right along. It doesn't slow down. We move it.
Yep.
Got to continue, Brian.
Yeah.
We don't.
And if you don't do a good job of that, you just blame me. That's what everybody else has done. Brian, you got to hurry this thing along. I said I'm doing the best I can, but sometimes they get up there and it takes a little longer than it does. Special recognition awards. Past presidents have been able to pass out a special award, and some of the names on that list too, man. Just really, Rabbit Fulgham's on that list. Jim Woods, the late Jim Woods in 2000, got a special award. I mean, you think back to just all the baseball that is in this town, and for these awards. And as we said, there's an amateur player of the year, there's a volunteer coach of the year, the speaker, he's always honored as far as that goes, outstanding individual contributor, outstanding corporate contributors, and then the scholarship program. And those scholarships are very important too, aren't they?
Oh yeah, because these kids are so good. Students, such good students, and then people don't realize how good these people are, and to be recognized with these scholarships is, that's a huge deal because there's some very impressive names on those groups too. And these kids, like I say, they do such a great job in classrooms, and people don't appreciate it. We don't appreciate what they do.
And you can't have the excellent programs that Greenville has for baseball without the sponsorships. And Brian, you know this firsthand. I mean, and you're one of the few, I think, in the world probably that you probably have a waiting list of sponsors. I mean, people want to get be sponsors in Greenville Little League, and there's just not any spots. Once you get one, you hang on to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's really neat about our league as far as the support we get is that. There's kids that have played 20 years ago for a particular team.
Yeah.
And that team's still there, and they can kind of follow the lineage and that kind of thing. So it's amazing the amount of support that we get and how little effort we have to take to go out and get that. I mean, they come to us, which is just phenomenal. I mean, it's just a testament to the support of the corporate community in Greenville for baseball.
And you have sponsorships, for all the teams, obviously. Then you have the fence sponsors, and then you have scoreboard sponsors, I'm sure. And, I mean, there's a whole gamut of ways you can help out, but it's a battle just to be able to do that, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing the support that we've gotten over the years just for our program, and not only our program, but I mean East Carolina gets it, Babe Ruth gets it. Everybody gets that type of support, and it's just really something else.
And do you think that part of the fact that the softball, the World Series, wanted to come to Greenville, I know that had to be part of your presentation to them, that hey, this is how we run the Little League program, this is how we do this, and it's a well-run machine, and we think we can do that, which I think you guys have. I mean, the softball thing is just it's a celebration of softball in that time of year. I mean, it really is
such a good week.
Yeah, and the one thing that they picked up on really quick when they got here, of course, I mean, they saw the stadium, which obviously means somebody's supporting supporting you.
Yeah.
And, but then when they got here, then they started meeting with like our city officials, our Recreational Parks Department, the mayor, the city manager, people like that. And they saw, these people are really into this and they'll really support it if this World Series comes here. And so that was a huge part of it.
And you guys are able, you close off part of Elm Street right there, right? And it's like a big, street party for a week.
Yeah, it's similar to what goes on up in Williamsport.
Yeah.
I know you've been up there, and there's a lot of stuff to do right in that little area. We wish it would be about 20 degrees cooler that week, but it is what it is. We always work our way through it.
Yeah, when you get there in August, and I know that's another thing. You have to keep your eye on the temperatures because it's brutal at times, but
especially around home plate.
Yeah, I bet.
At Elm Street Park, it is hot. There's not much breeze up there.
And the interesting thing about that, and I know you guys know this, but the umpires are all volunteers. They volunteer their time. They want to be there in a World Series atmosphere, and just the way ESPN takes the games, and they're all on national television for the week. It's really a testament, and it's not baseball, it's softball, but it's the girls' version of baseball, basically, right?
Yeah, it is, and it's really cool being able to meet people from throughout our country and throughout the world, and that includes the umpires. And the umpires actually show up here at the end of May, and they spend 3 or 4 days here training, and they actually work somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 8 of our games. Just so that the evaluators can kind of see them in action. Even though it's baseball, it's still relatively similar, and they get to see them do some work before they actually.
I did not know that. That's interesting.
Last year was the first year they did it, so this will be year 2.
And surviving COVID like you guys were able to do. That put a monkey wrench in obviously in everybody doing anything, but you guys were able to manage that. I know it wiped you out one year, and then the next year it was limited as far as the fans go, and then you kind of got back into it full time.
Yeah, last year was really our second one with full out participation from fans and that kind of thing, and it's quite rewarding to see the crowds that come out for the games and that sort of thing.
And if you've ever worked with Little League, they have a certain way they do things, and you kind of have to have to go by their rules, don't you?
Yeah, and it's different. I know it's a different experience for you because
it's very different for us. But
I think you get a little more access at East Carolina, probably.
Oh yeah,
with
I can go on the field during a game in East Carolina, but I can't get near anything during it. But it's a little different. But I think part of it too is getting used to everything. I think part of it too is there's a trust factor in there somewhere. And I think we haven't quite gotten with those guys and gotten the trust factor going yet. But it is interesting. But they're responsible for so much, and these are children we're talking about. Yeah. And but I think we got more in Williamsport. To be honest, we were able to get up with teams and stuff like that a little bit easier when we were following Greenville. And those were two. And people asked me during our 70th anniversary special for Channel 9, some of the great, things I've covered and that kind of thing. But the 2 trips to Williamsport, man, they were incredible. I knew it was.
That place.
Oh my goodness, yeah. It was just, just to be there, to know that the kids that you live with and you work with their parents and that kind of thing, and they're all up there, and Greenville was well represented both times, weren't they?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'd recommend it to everybody to go up there, and if you like baseball. Williamsport, the first weekend is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's got to be on your bucket list. If it's not, you need to get it there. All right, we're going to take a break right now. Coming up next, we're going to have Chris Bassett, the pitcher with the Toronto Blue Jays. He's going to be the guest speaker tomorrow night, so we'll have Chris Bassett on next. Back with more on the Brian Bailey Show, our Hot Stove edition after this.
This is a Pirate Radio Sports Break. I'm Shirley Rhodes. The Texas Rangers released their coaching staff for the Down East Wood Ducks that will be arriving this season. Carlos Maldonado will return for his second season as head coach of the Woodies, following a Carolina League Championship Series appearance last year. This season will be the last. The team will play in Kinston and historic Granger Stadium before moving to Spartanburg, South Carolina next year. Area high school basketball for tonight. South Central will travel to D.H. Conley. Farville Central will host North Pitt. Wes Craven is at Southwest Edgecombe, and Aiden Grifton will host the Pan Pac of Washington. All of those games have 7:30 tip-offs, and Havelock will host Rose, and Kinston is at North Lenoir. Both of those games will tip off at 8 o'clock. In the NBA, the Charlotte Hornets are trading guard Terry Rozier to the Miami Heat for a 2027 first-round pick and Kyle Lowry, according to ESPN sources. This has been a Pirate Radio Sports Break. I'm Shirley Rhodes.
And we interrupt you with breaking news live from the Pepsi Wild Cherry aisle. Carol, can you hear us?
Steve, I've never seen anything like this. The bold, refreshing, and bursting with cherry deliciousness of Pepsi Wild Cherry is, well, let's just say everyone is getting wild.
Getting wild?
That's right, Steve. There's dancing, binge-watching, and is that a slip and slide? They're really putting the wild in Pepsi Wild Cherry, and this on-the-scene reporter can't wait to pop, lock, and drop it.
Pepsi Wild Cherry. Go ahead. Get wild.
Looking for a hometown service in a hometown atmosphere? Look no further than G.W. Walker & Sons in downtown Washington. Randy and Carolyn Walker will work with you to make your home renovations come to life. At G.W. Walker & Sons, we offer a wide selection of flooring for your home, office, church, or school, along with expert installation. Stop by G.W. Walker & Sons at 203 West Main Street in downtown Washington, and let's start making those dreams come true. G.W. Walker & Sons, serving Eastern North Carolina since 1946. Go Pirates!
Save a load on a new John Deere compact utility tractor and loader from Quality Equipment. It's never been easier to get the best brand on the market at an unbeatable cash price or with great financing at our lowest ever monthly payment. Now is the time to get that tractor package you've been dreaming of to get your next job done right. Stop by one of our 36 locations in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia, or visit us online at qualityequip.com.
Attention athletes and fans. Tiebreakers is looking for all-stars. Do you know an athlete who made a game-winning play, scored an amazing touchdown, or hit a huge home run? We're scouting Eastern North Carolina for this month's most outstanding athlete. Go to tiebreakersathlete.com to nominate your favorite player for the prestigious Athlete of the Month award. Tiebreakers, shining a light on the athletes that make Eastern North Carolina proud. Submit your nomination now at tiebreakersathlete.com.
Hey, I'm Holt Nailers. No one knows better than me how important it is as a quarterback to have protection on the field to be successful. My frontline team is critical to my success. For your frontline insurance protection, you need the team at Buck Insurance Agency. Buck Insurance Agency is your local team and have been helping customers like you for over 30 years with their insurance needs. When you need insurance protection, you'll get the whole team with Brian Buck and his staff. Call toll-free at 877-357-1966. Go Pirates.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show. Now, back to Brian.
And welcome back to our show, the Hot Stove Banquet edition of our show each and every year. And the guest speaker coming up tomorrow night for the Pitt-Greenville Hot Stove League will be Chris Bassett. He's a pitcher with the Toronto Blue Jays. And Chris joins us right now. Chris, first of all, how did you get roped into this assignment?
I've been to it before. Scott Emerson, my old pitching coach with Oakland, he was a speaker for y'all, I would say, a couple years ago. And so they asked me to do it, and I said, yeah, I'll do it.
Well, we're looking forward to having you coming up tomorrow night. When you think about pitching in the big leagues, what's the hardest part about being a Major League Baseball pitcher?
I would say the biggest thing is just the mental side of it all. I mean, obviously, you see college, you see the minor leagues, stuff like that, and there's so much talent now in all these levels, but I would say the biggest separation between all the levels is just like the mental side of it.
Made your debut in 2014 with the White Sox. What was it like making that first debut on the mound?
Yeah, definitely awesome. I mean, obviously, dream come true. The goal, obviously, always was to get to the big leagues, and getting there was definitely a big box checked, but obviously now a lot bigger goals.
What was the hardest part about the rise through the minor leagues for you?
I would say the hardest part was just learning how to fail, learning how to become good enough at each level, and then obviously getting to the big leagues and trying to stay. But I mean, like I said, the biggest thing was just trusting coaches, trusting strength staff, and all that stuff, and just like I said, learning how failure can kind of teach you what to do, what not to do, instead of fighting it. Kind of just learn from it.
And that's one thing we've always heard. I mean, baseball is pretty much a game of failure, isn't it?
No doubt about it.
Yeah. Chris Bassett joining us. He's the guest speaker coming up tomorrow night for the annual Pitt-Greenville Hot Stove League banquet. Debuted with the White Sox in 2014. Then you spent several years in the Oakland A's organization from 2015 to 2021. What stood out about those years?
I mean, I would just say that the biggest thing that stood out was just the people that I was able to play with. Obviously, I mean, look around the league. There were some of the best players in the league right now: Marcus Semien, Matt Olson, Matt Chapman. Those type of guys. I mean, I was teammates with them for so long. So I would just say the people, between Bob Melvin, the coach. I mean, we just had such a great group. So, I mean, obviously we're all separated and on different teams now, but I would say just the group of players that we had and just how great of times we had back then.
And you spent the 2022 season with the Mets. What was it like in the Big Apple? Was the media a little harsher in New York?
I mean, I would say the fans and the media are as harsh as you want to make them. So I'm pretty much a country guy that doesn't try to really get involved in all that stuff. So honestly, it wasn't too hard for me, I don't think. It was just, like I said, if you want it to be really, really loud, it can be really loud. If you want it to be quiet, you can't get peace and quiet, but you can quiet down a lot more than people think.
Just think the 3-year deal with the Toronto Blue Jays. How much are you looking forward to pitching for Toronto?
Yeah, I mean, obviously last year was my first year with them, so I loved it there. And then going forward, I have 2 more years with them, so I think it was it was awesome last year. I think we have an unbelievable team, unbelievable pitching staff. So I think it's just I have a great opportunity to possibly win a World Series there. So I'm genuinely very excited for the next couple of years.
Is it different when you're playing for a team north of the border? When you're playing for a Canadian team, is it different, or do you really not even notice it?
I mean, I would say it's definitely different, just because I think it's a very unique and different opportunity. Just because I mean, say I'm playing for the Braves or Kansas City or one of those other teams. I mean, you're kind of playing for a city, obviously, kind of playing for a state. But I mean, playing for Toronto. I mean, our fan base is by far the biggest fan base in the world. I mean, we're playing for an entire country, and Canada's not a small country by any means. So, it's pretty unbelievable. Like, we go out west, and if we play Seattle, we have more fans than the Mariners. We go to LA, we have unbelievable fans there that come down from Vancouver, because it's really the only time they can see us. So there's so many fans out there for us. So to be able to play for them, it's like I said, it's a pretty unique situation, and it's pretty special.
When you look at the preseason with Toronto, I mean, as you said, you got a chance to play in a World Series. I mean, Toronto brings back a really nice lineup, and this is going to be one of the favorites, isn't it?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, just because I think our pitching staff is that good. Our starting pitching is, I mean, I don't even think it's arguable. I think our starting pitching is the best in the big leagues. So anytime you have really good starting pitching, you have a really good chance.
What's the go-to pitch for Chris Bassett when you're on the mound? What's your best pitch?
Yeah, it's got to be my sinker. If my sinker's working, it's going to be a long day for hitters. So I would say, yeah, for sure, it's my sinker.
I like the way you say that, because that's all the confidence in the world. If my sinker's working, it's going to be a long day for you hitters. That's good. When you look at things you want to tweak, what are some of the pitches you want to make better?
I would say it's not so much making things better. I mean, obviously, you're always striving to make all your pitches better and refine them. I would say it's more so consistency amongst like a lineup when it comes to giving up some damage. I gave up a couple home runs last year that I thought were just solely just mental mistakes on my part, where it came to not thinking correctly on the certain pitch, or not thinking correctly on where to stay out of what zone on certain speeds. So I think more so next year is it's not really pressure. It's more so just kind of having that free mind space where I'm not making those like silly mistakes and giving up 2 or 3 like earned runs on one swing. So I think that's the biggest thing for me going forward is just, like I said, just having a clear thought process and just staying out of those spots.
Hey, Chris, this is Clip. Kind of a random question here, but during the COVID years, we were all inside looking for something to do. I was in a MLB The Show online league with some buddies of mine, and one guy had Oakland, and I just remember one of the best players in the league hated playing against Chris Bassett because of the breaking ball, the movement you had. I'm just curious, do you play MLB The Show? And if so, are you pretty dominant when you use yourself?
I get so much baseball when it comes to my personal life that the last thing I want to do is have more baseball in it. So I definitely have a lot of friends that play MLB The Show, and they tell me about my curveball and how it'll really mess up hitters and stuff like that. But yeah, I got 2 kids at home. I got a little girl and a little boy. So the last thing I want to do and need to do is play video games.
That's awesome. I tell you, when you think about just how far technology has come, and for Chris Bassett to be dominant on the mound in the video game. Chris, when you speak tomorrow night to the Hot Stove League, anything in particular you want to talk about?
I mean, there's a lot of directions, obviously, to go, but I think it's just more so my past and kind of just what I've learned, and just try to guide people in the right way. I think baseball is one of the unique sports in the world where it can teach you not just about obviously baseball, but it can teach you about life as well. So I think it's just more so just telling people about my path and just how I have mentally been able to get over things, how I've been able to adjust to certain situations that are really, really tough. And I think that's just the way to go, kind of thing.
We have had some outstanding speakers through the years, and I think we're going to have another one coming up tomorrow night. Chris Bassett, pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays. Chris, thanks so much for your time. We should look forward to visiting with you again coming up at the banquet tomorrow night.
Sounds good. I appreciate y'all.
That's Chris Bassett. We're back with more of the Brian Bailey Show, this Hot Stove edition, after this.
The Buccaneer Music Hall is your beacon of music in the land of pirates in eastern North Carolina. Open 7 days a week with live music. Monday through Wednesday, acoustic night. Thursday, we have line dancing from 7 to 9, followed by karaoke with DJ Dog. On Friday and Saturday night, enjoy the best local bands in the area. And don't forget, Sunday Fun Day during football season with NFL jersey giveaways and more. Check out Facebook and Instagram for all up-to-date information and band schedules. Y'all come get bucked up.
Country Mart has been locally owned and operated for over 40 years and is your premier country store serving the best cheese biscuits and country food around. Country Mart is open every day and has 2 locations in Bethel on Highway 11 and in Stokes on Highway 903. Both Country Mart locations are top-of-the-line fuel stations serving Shell gas, including 93 ethanol-free high-octane gas, which is the best for all you boat owners. Country Mart, fueling you up with great food in your engines with great gasoline. Go Pirates.
Turkey, ham, bacon, these and other meats are great around the holidays and every other day, but they all leave behind grease when you cook them, and grease is a real pain in the drain. When you pour grease down a drain, it cools and can clog sewer lines. That can lead to sewer spills, which are messy, bad for the environment, and can also be expensive. Never pour grease down the drain. Instead, collect it in a container like a used soup can or jar. Let it cool and throw it away in the trash. Together, we can protect our sewer system and the environment. For more information, go to GUC.com.
Washington's favorite place to eat and where all the locals go is down on Main Street. Down on Main Street's famous weekday lunch specials are only $7.99. Stop by for the house salad with grilled chicken, the half club sandwich with chips, or everyone's favorite, the fried shrimp plate. After work, Down on Main Street is the perfect spot for dinner and a drink on the patio. Join Down on Main Street every Wednesday for half-price wings from 4 to close. Down on Main Street in historic downtown Washington. Go Pirates!
I'm back, and so glad to be back in the town that I love, but also glad to be back with the best chiropractor anywhere. Worth Chiropractic was my choice before I left Greenville, and my travels have not changed my mind. No one offers the care or service like Worth Chiropractic. Neck pain, back pain, and of course, sports-related injuries, they will get you back to being you, naturally and safely. Worth Chiropractic, 2 convenient locations on Arlington Boulevard. Free consultations, and they'll work with your lawyer and file your insurance. Call 1-800-BACK-DOC today.
Hi, I'm Walker Allen Volova, and I'm with CopyPro. CopyPro has been locally owned and operated here in Eastern North Carolina for over 50 years. CopyPro is the leader in office technology. Does your business struggle with keeping printing costs low or producing professional documents? Here at CopyPro, total satisfaction is our #1 priority. We have a variety of solutions to help reduce your printing expenses and make your business more productive. Call us today at 1-800-682-6558 or online at copypro.net. CopyPro, we are the professional office systems people.
The brunch is back. The famous brunch buffet at Fifth Street Hardware has a variety of breakfast and lunch items from 10:30 to 2, including an omelet station and prime rib, and a special Sunday cocktail menu, including mimosa flights. Don't forget, Fifth Street Hardware has lunch specials every day, along with over 40 beers on tap. Trivia Wednesday, live music every Thursday night, and a late night menu through the weekend. Visit FifthStreetHardware.com or give them a follow on Facebook and Instagram for a weekly lineup and more. Go Pirates!
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities. Community owned, community powered. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back on this Tuesday edition of The Brian Bailey Show. We're talking about the 33rd Annual Pitt-Greenville Hot Stove League Banquet. I want to thank Chris Bassett for joining us, and he'll be the guest speaker coming up tomorrow. And RV, you were saying that this is a really good young pitcher that a lot of us don't know a lot about as we try to be better baseball fans. I say that every year, but I really want to be a better baseball fan. And now we're going to get a chance to meet Chris Bassett tomorrow night and get a chance to root for a guy.
Yeah. You know, he tied the American League in wins with 16. He was in the top 10 in strikeouts, his innings pitched. You know, ERA was in the top 10. You know, he had a great year. And, you know, he talked about throwing that sinker ball. You know, a lot of pitchers have gone away from that because the launch angle of the batters, you know, they don't want it diving where they're swinging. But when his sinker ball is working, man, the bottom falls out, and the guy swing over the top of it and he miss it. And, you know, he can go eight innings without giving up runs sometimes.
Yeah.
Really, really a good pitcher.
It's really amazing, too, if you ever stand behind somebody like that and just watch, you know, what's going on with the rotation of the baseball and just the juice they can put on one. And you know, I say juice, and you think about Gaylord Perry. He put something on a baseball, or allegedly. But, looking forward to hearing some of his stories coming up tomorrow night as a part of the 33rd Annual Pitt-Greenville Hot Stove League Banquet. Part of the real enjoyment of this banquet are the awards. And through the years, some great people have been honored. The Hot Stove League has an award for the Amateur Player of the Year, for the Individual Contributor, for the Corporate Contributor, for the Coach of the Year, and through the years, I mean, some great people have won these awards, haven't they, Coach?
Oh yeah, you know, you look at that list of great players and great coaches, and you know, we've in the corporate sponsors, man, and well, even the individual contributors, these people, they really give it up for youth baseball in Pitt County. It's not just it's youth baseball, and these people are really, they deserve to be honored.
You look at that, the past winners of the Amateur Player of the Year. As we said, Eric Jarman won the first award back in 1990. The second winner, you know who that was? Tom Moy.
Tom Moy.
How about that?
Yeah, he was with the Pirates at that time.
Yeah, Tom Moy was the second winner. David Lyston after that.
Tom's got a son playing Little League Baseball now.
Does he really? Yep. I'll tell you what, Tom's a great guy, and hadn't seen him in a while. A great guy. Heath Clark back in 1995 was the winner. Mitch Jones in 94. Man, this Steve Solargo in 99. Right, yeah. Man, he had a great career at East Carolina. Look at some of the Bryant Ward in 02. Yeah. He's still coaching in out west, right?
UCLA.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Clayton McCullough in 2003. I still say he's going to be a manager one of these years, right? Don't you think?
He had a couple of really good interviews this year, and he's right there at the cusp.
I thought Cleveland I really,
I did too.
I thought that was going to be the deal right there. Cleveland Guardians.
We need to get him as a speaker because that's Mike Schilt.
That's exactly right. Maybe that is the path we haven't realized yet. But
so hopefully we can get Clayton to speak.
It certainly worked for Schilt, didn't it? You look at some of the other winners through I'm just going to kind of gaze through the list. 2012, Chase McDonald was the winner in 12. Dalton Britt in 15. Brian Packard in 18. Brian's back over with East Carolina helping out with Cliff and company there. Rocker Glasgow was the winner last year. As far as the nominations this year, talk about those guys a little bit.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Amateur player Xavier Meacham, Little League player, Greenville Little League player, and been drafted. He was thrown up in the 90s there. And then Alex Boucher from played at South Central, played at Old Dominion this year. And Shane Rodemaker. Golly, man, what a story that one is. He was a good player, and now he got signed by the Giants this summer. And all of them are good stories. All of them are good players. And then
Matthew Mateus.
Mateus, man,
yeah.
You can't say enough about Mateus. At UNC, and I'm glad he's not at Conley anymore.
Well, I always tell him I didn't learn how to say your last name. I learned it because of your sister, not because of you.
That's right.
Because she could hit.
Yeah, she could. She was a player.
But Matthew, a great family, and he certainly could play as well. And the memberships, they all vote on the winners, and we'll have the winners announcements coming up tomorrow. Same type deal tomorrow. Somebody will introduce the winners. How are you going to do it again?
Yeah, we've got somebody lined up to introduce everybody. So.
That'll be good as far as that goes. Individual contributor, who are some of those nominations?
Yeah, well, the contributor, great nominations again. The Anne-Marie Rogers, and Philip Sakali. They're such good people. They do so much for Greenville Little League. And who was the third?
Dwayne Grooms.
Dwayne Grooms,
yeah, And Luann.
Is Groomster coming back tomorrow night?
I think so.
It's a rumor.
He better come back.
Yeah. He better come back.
He ain't got nothing else to do.
Yeah, there you go. He's just down there enjoying life by the beach. But and then the corporate contributors. We've talked about that a lot because you can't have an event. You can't have baseball like we have it here without contributions from corporations, and they give so much of their own. But a couple good nominations there as well.
Yeah, Parker's Barbecue, who is always part of everything we do with Greenville Sports, and then the Carolina Vision Care, golly, they give it up. But, you're talking about that. Home Builders has had a team for over 50 years, and Babe Ruth, and before that it was Tino League. Home Builders is, that's what we live on, and they're still there. I played for Home Builders.
Did you now? That's been a while.
Yeah, so that's been a while.
Some of those great companies through the years. The very first Outstanding Corporate came in 95. That was not one of the original awards that started in 90, but in 95, our Outstanding Corporate sponsor, Pepsi in 95, E.R. Lewis Construction in 96, Aldrich and Southern in 97, Coca-Cola in 98, and the list just goes on. East Carolina Auto and Truck in 99. You look down the list and just Jarman Auto Sales, Physicians East, Orthopedics East, companies that have been here for a long, long time, and they give so much back to baseball. Last year's winner was Eastern Plumbing.
Yeah.
And before that, Town Bank was a winner there. So just some great BB&T's on the list, Next Level Training, North Care, Brown and Wood, Ross Orthodontics, Carolina Collision Repair, Carolina Windows and Doors, the Lions. I mean, just anywhere you look. And that's for the Phil Joyner Outstanding Corporate Sponsor. We got a name on that award. The Outstanding Individual Contributor, we should say that's the George E. Williams Outstanding Individual Contributor. And you talked a little bit about the scholarships, but those are some just great men that those scholarships are named after.
Yeah.
Mike Board, the Family Scholarship, George E. Williams, the Jimmy Grimsley Scholarship, the Greg Biagini Scholarship, and the Steve Ward Scholarship. Just outstanding baseball men in the city of Greenville, and just mean a whole lot to us. And it's really been a great ride to have the hot stove banquet each and every year. I asked you this to start the show, but when you sat there 33 years ago, did you think we'd still be doing it 33 years later?
I was hoping we would, but no, we didn't even know we'd be here. So, but yeah, look at all those people, Brian.
Yeah.
And you know them all, and Brian knows them all, and so many people out here, and what they have done for baseball, and like I keep saying, the youth of Greenville, not just necessarily baseball, but these people do it for the right reasons.
You know where the first Pitt-Greenville Hostelry banquet was held?
Wasn't it Moose Lodge?
That was.
Moose
That's what I was thinking. The Moose Lodge. Now, Brian, when did you get involved with? When did you get to town? I know it's not like you've been here forever. But I don't think.
Yeah, I got here in 1988, and I think Jim Bibby was the speaker the first year that I was involved, and so whatever year Jim Bibby spoke.
There you go. We can narrow that down.
It was the first year I got involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that once you get involved, we keep you involved, and now you're the president. You're the head honcho.
Never thought that was coming, did you, Brian?
Yeah, no.
As you said, Ann does all the real work, and you do all the interviews.
Well, I mean, and it's not just Ann too. I mean, the number of people, and I'm probably gonna miss somebody, but you got Phil Joyner, you got Dwayne Grooms, you got Walt Mercer, you got RV, you got yourself, Randy Phillips, just the number of people, Dwayne Grooms, that contribute to what happens with this, and Lee Nairn's another one. I mean, whenever we need an ad or something sold for the program, Lee shows up with a fistful of checks, and it really helps keep the organization moving.
See, I got the easy part because God gave me some kind of ability just to speak, so I just get a chance to go. And we've done the same thing every year. We go live for the TV side. I'm lucky to have a television station that supports everything we do. But we go live at 5:20 and 6:20, and then we try to make it a really big deal for everybody that night on the newscast at 11. And we try to usually we put it online very shortly after that. Jason Boyd does a great job at our place of getting stuff online pretty quickly. And then the next day, usually in the 5 o'clock, we'll touch on some of the things just to, to make the winners feel good. I mean, give them a chance to be on TV and so all their relatives, all their friends can see them accepting their awards, because these are very important awards. They're really, prestigious awards, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think, for some people, it really kind of validates what they've done, and maybe at times, sometimes people feel unappreciated or whatever, and and they get this award, and it's like, wow, this is really neat to get this, and not only winning the awards, but even being nominated for an award, because there are, I think for every award, I could probably think of 8 to 10 people who would be perfect to win it and would deserve to win it.
Right.
But, the problem is you only have one, and so and that's just kind of the way it goes sometimes. But there are just so many people that not only great players, the coaches that coach those great players, and the people that support their efforts financially are just it's an amazing baseball community that we have here in Pitt County and Greenville and this area. It's really something that I don't know that we know that what we have, because you hear it from people that come visit. They say, man, this whole town is just amazing the way it supports baseball and softball too.
Now, I go back to that first night. I've asked a couple of times about it, but I remember sitting there and I was hearing people say, well, I think we can get 500 people. And I was looking around, I was like, why are we going to get 500 people? We could get 1,000 probably if you wanted to. I mean, all you got to do is put some barbecue out there, some baseball, and the term hot stove comes about. Then back in the old days, guys would sit around a hot stove on a cold day and talk about baseball, and that's pretty much what we do. And earlier this week we needed a hot stove, didn't we? The weather's supposed to be a little bit better later in the week, but it is in fact
always means it's going to start getting warmer now.
Right, exactly.
It's starting getting warmer now.
Well, I told RV, I said when Rose High starts practice, though, it's going to go back to about
That's
35.
right. I told Cliff Godwin the same thing. We all know it gets a hint of spring, and then as soon as they start playing baseball, we're at East Carolina, and their first game is February 16th. And that's dicey. Middle of February, playing baseball, but hopefully the weather will be clear there. All right, we got to take one final commercial break, and then we'll come back and we'll wrap up this edition of the Brian Bailey Show, talking Pitt-Greenville Hot Stove League baseball after this.
I'm Michael Vaughn with East Coast Grading and Utilities. Many of you know my dad, David Vaughn, and his work in putting in subdivisions all over Pirate Nation. But East Coast Grading and Utilities is not just for those type of big jobs. We're here for the homeowners. Whether it's concrete, driveways, hauling rock, or sand, whatever you need, East Coast Grading and Utilities can get the job done. Call us at 252-531-7494 or check us out on Facebook at East Coast Grading and Utilities.
Now's your chance to save during the year-end clear-out at Bostic Sugg Furniture. We're clearing out the 2023s, which means huge savings for you. Find unheard-of sale prices all across our showroom floor. Save 70% off clearance items. Take an extra 10% off all in-stock custom order furniture, plus 6 months special financing. Get a new mattress at year-end savings, plus all in-stock Last Chance Serta Arctic and Restonic mattresses are half off. The year-end clear-out is finally here, now at Bostic Sugg Furniture.
Here at Papa John's, we know our stuff.
So try our newest cheesy calzone epic stuffed crust pizza, made with a blend of ricotta and mozzarella, hand stuffed into that Papa John's fresh, never frozen original dough. Get it for a limited time only at Papa John's.
Hey, Pirate fans, Papa John's is the MVP move for game day or any day. Place your order online at papajohns.com and sign up for Papa Rewards. Papa John's, better ingredients, better pizza. Go Pirates.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Have you heard? Greenville Auto World is under new ownership and is now part of the DriveHereNow.com network. DriveHereNow.com is run by local people who buy, service, detail, and sell everything directly to you. Greenville Auto World is now the 5th dealership to join the DriveHereNow.com network. Get car shopping today at DriveHereNow.com and choose a location near you. DriveHereNow.com, serving Eastern North Carolina for over 47 years and proud supporter of the Pirates.
You've worked hard to make your business successful, and that's why it's really important to always have a bank in your corner when you need them. This is former ECU baseball player Ashley Capps from First Bank, and our experienced team of local bankers includes Lee Watson, Chris Richards, Josh Hooten, and Heath Nisbet. To get the business services that are right for your business today, come and see someone on our team at First Bank on Arlington Boulevard here in Greenville. First Bank, together with our customers, we're creating a world where individuals and communities thrive.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The Angus Grill is your premier spot for the best burgers, cheesesteaks, and brisket sandwiches around. Join us for our unmatched variety of burger combinations, from the mushroom bacon Swiss burger to the jalapeno popper burger to the original Angus classic. Pair that burger with our amazing onion rings, tots, fries, or sweet potato fries. Angus Grill, with 4 amazing locations in Eastern North Carolina, including Winterville near Pitt Community College, on Jarvis Street in Uptown Greenville, and on Statensburg Road near the hospital. It's the best burger around, guaranteed.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, working for our community, not for shareholders. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back as we wrap up today's edition of The Brian Bailey Show on a special day on this Tuesday, the 33rd Annual Pitt-Greenville Hot Stove League Banquet. Before we let everybody go, let's get a scouting report on those Rose High Rampants. We were talking during the commercial break. He said Conley's going to be good, South Central's going to be good, Rampants are going to be good.
Yeah, all 3 of us, we're going to be fighting it out again.
Yeah.
Fighting it out again. And, who's ever pitcher's hot that night is probably the way it's.
And we've talked about this before, but man, it's nothing like playoff baseball at Guy Smith Stadium.
Oh, it's so much fun. It's so much fun with all those people there, and it's kind of a tight. It's really a lot of fun.
So I had RV on live one time before the game, and he lost the game, and he hasn't done a live shot with me since then. And I'm just like, what is the deal? So tomorrow night, when Brian goes live with me at 5:20, if he has a bad night tomorrow night, he won't do it anymore either.
Then I'll have to do it for him.
But we usually get Clay, or we've gotten different people during the years. Because somebody did ask me that. They said, "Hey, does RV not like you?" I said, "No, I think RV likes me a lot. He's just real superstitious, and he ain't gonna go through that again." But
we're good. I got too much on my mind at that time.
That's what it is. Yeah, well, just
too much going through.
Now Marvin would go live with me. He would do it in a minute. Yeah, he would do that in a minute. All right, Brian, we've got a chance. You can still get tickets if you show up tomorrow night. How much are tickets?
They're $25.
$25 for a ticket gets you the barbecue dinner. Get a chance to hear the guest speaker, get a chance to be a part of all the awards and that kind of thing, and you still have memberships available. Can people become members?
Yeah, I mean, we'll sell a membership. You can get 4 tickets for $90, which is a $10 savings.
Yep.
And it'll let you vote in next year's election.
There you go.
We need people to become members. We
really do.
Yeah, we need a younger group to come in because some of us are getting up there, aren't we, Coach?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we got the young people.
Yeah.
They're only in their 50s.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Man, I went over the threshold to 60. Now I'm 61. I'll be 62 in July. So, and you get this age, man, it gets you just kind of wonder about everything like that. But it's been really good. It's been a lot of fun through the years for the Hot Stove Banquet. 33rd annual. One year we didn't have one because of the weather. Snowed, and one year I missed it because they sent me to the Super Bowl. Remember that? They sent me to Super Bowl 38 to cover it. So
you had to go to the Super Bowl.
They made me go, so I had to go cover that. So that's what we did.
That's why we scheduled around the Super Bowl.
There we go. So now we've got it right now. But it's going to be tomorrow night. Starts, 6 o'clock you start with the pregame chat. 6:30 the pregame chat. 7 o'clock you pass out the food.
And then
we get started.
Yeah.
All right.
Start rolling around 7:30, I guess.
Should be a lot of fun. And it's at the Murphy Center at East Carolina on campus.
Center, just a tremendous venue for it.
It really is. It's really a nice night. So we hope you all can join us for that. I want to thank Ronald Vincent. Good luck in baseball this year. We'll, of course, see a bunch of...
Yeah, but you don't come see us until it starts warming up.
Exactly. We got to get some warmth.
He said, I got to cover basketball.
Got to cover basketball for a while. Then I'll have to get an Ernie sub at some point. So I come over there and go to Guy Smith Stadium. Yeah. Also, thank you to Brian Weingarts for coming on tonight. Looking forward to his first. This is your first coming up as president, you and Ann. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Well, it is. But, Dwayne Grooms has been a tremendous help. And
groomster.
He's done a whole lot more than people realize.
He always does.
Organization.
Looking forward to seeing him tomorrow night as well. All right, that is our Brian Bailey Show for today. Coming up next week, we'll most likely talk East Carolina Pirate baseball. But we hope to see you tomorrow night at the Hot Stove Banquet, the 33rd annual Pitt-Greenville Hot Stove League Banquet. We'll see you next week.
This has been The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, and also brought to you by
The Angus Grill, Bostic Sugg Furniture, Bojangles, East Coast Grading, Gavigan Insurance, Greenville Auto World, Papa John's, Greenville Utility Company, Michelob Ultra, The Rick House, Taft Hagler, and Tiebreakers.
Join us next week for another edition of The Brian Bailey Show, right here on Pirate Radio. This is Pirate Radio, WG.